Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to trick out a 13 fishing concept day. I did this one earlier today. I believe it's called Midnight Reel Kit in the black and blue. Man, it turned out just freaking sick. Blue handle kit, blue spool. I even got the blue cap there on the line guide. A lot of guys don't replace that cap. I'm assuming they don't want to take the reel all the way apart. I'm pretty familiar with that. I'm sure you guys have seen some of my reel cleaning videos. If you haven't, definitely check those out. I'll put those in the description below. But I'll show you guys how to take this reel completely apart, trick it out, and put it back together. Let me readjust the camera and I'll get right back to you guys. Alright guys, we got the kit laid out here. I'm using the Demon Reel Kit Red Black. TS Kit 11 fits the A, C, E, and KP. So I'm going to take my time here. Hopefully you guys can follow along. Any questions, just leave those in the comments. But let's get to it. Alright, first up, let's go and take the handle off. And if you're not familiar with taking a reel apart, set them in order. I'm pretty familiar already with this reel, taking the last one apart. So, but just put them in order how you know how to put it back together, or keep the breakdown sheet with you so you guys can see how it goes back together. But I'll do it slow enough for you guys to follow me. So, alright, first, take the screw off right here. Hold that little retainer clip on. If you're using a good screwdriver, don't strip out the heads. The retainer clip just come right off. Just trying to get my fingernail underneath it. There we go. Set that aside. Alright, 10 millimeter, pretty standard size. Now hold on to the handle, okay? Because it's just pressure keeping this on. This is the nut. That star drag doesn't wind on like other reels. Okay, so you get your nut. Now hold on to that star drag. Pull it off slow. Alright, handle. Now there's a washer that was underneath the handle that's still on there. And then there's this part here, it's part of the clicker. Okay, pull that off. That washer to stay right on top, if you guys can see that. Now here's what you don't want to lose. Inside the star drag, there's a little bitty, I'm actually just going to dump this out here so I don't lose them. There's a little bitty, if you guys can see that or not, there's a little bitty pin. That's your clicker. Do not lose that. And then inside the star drag here, it's a spring. So use an X-Acto knife here and pull that out. Set that aside. Okay. Now the star drag is free to come off. Okay. Star drag. Set that aside. Now you got a spring, which will just come right off. Nut. Now you see these two washers here? As you guys can see that or not, you can see the gap between the two on the ends here. That's how those have to go back on. Okay, they're cupped towards each other, and as you apply as you turn the drag, they'll kind of flatten out a little bit. So make sure though when you put those back on that they're cupped. I'm just pulling them off here. Hopefully everything's in view here, guys. If I'm hiding something as I'm doing it, just leave a comment. But all I'm doing here is pulling off these two washers. Okay, set those aside. Tension knob. Set that aside. All right, let's go ahead and take the spool out. Side cover here. Wrong way. There we go. Pull the spool out. Set that aside. I was using that Cigar Senshi the other day. That's a pretty good mono, guys. Alright, now before you take this side cover off here, I want you to take out the 2 screws on this side here. If you guys can see these, they're going to be hard to show because they're behind this plate here. Let me get a screwdriver here. Hold on. Alright, there's one right there, and then one, let's see here. The other one is right here in front. They're black, guys, so they're not really going to show up too well. But you'll see the 2 screws holding on the front nose here. Take those off now. Just rotate the side cover there until you got the clearance. One and 2. It's not going to come off, nothing yet. You got 2 more screws on the other side. Okay, you got those off? Okay, you go ahead and I'll tell you what we'll do now while we got that open. To get the side cover off, there's a screw. Let's see here. Everything being black, guys, is not really showing up too well. There's a screw right here. Keep the screws separate, because this screw here is going to be longer than the other ones. You can put them however you need to put them so you know. But that's the spool one there. Or the one goes behind the spool. Then we got one here. One there, and then we got 2 on the inside. We got one down here, and then one right here. Guys, sorry they're not showing up too well. Like I said, they're black screws. They're just blending in with the reel. So take those apart, or take those out. Alright. The side cover will come off. Okay. Now there's 2 yoke springs on top. They're not going to go flying out. Just take this off slowly. And most likely the washer here and that, let's see if it stays or not. And the washer, no, it might be coming off. Sometimes they stick in there. There's a sleeve. It stood on. And then there's a washer right on top here. Right on top of the one-way bearing, you can just leave it on there. Just make sure that if it didn't stay, just make sure it's on there. The last one I took apart, the sleeve stood inside there with the washer on top, but that washer's still right on there, so you didn't lose anything, it's right there. Alright, now we're going back to the nose here. There are 2 more screws. One here and one here. Take those out and you can remove the nose. Guys, this looks a lot, probably more complicated than it is. But you guys have seen from my videos before, I've taken a ton of reels apart. I mean, I could do this blindfolded. Okay. Now, pop that side open. The nose will come off. Okay. Now you can get to the cap here. I'm using a big screwdriver on it because I don't want to strip the head. It fits right in that slot. It's not on there very tight. Okay. Now there could be washers inside this cap, so just take a look when you pull it off. Okay, there's none in this cap here. They're still on the end of the tooth there. Okay, just make sure they stay on there. Get your red cap or whatever color you're using. Don't cross thread it. And don't over tighten this, just make sure it's snug. That's all you need. Okay, now a little grease in there. Okay, now get your nose. What I like to do, I like to wipe the frame there. I don't like any grease on that frame. Okay. Get your nose. Slide it back on. Get your screws. You can do the other side later. You don't want to turn the reel over and knock your gear or anything off. Okay. That's done there. I'll start putting it back together. Like I said, the sleeve here stayed on. So now, just make sure we're not forgetting anything. Those are in. Our yoke springs here, make sure those do not come off. There's 2 springs, those are still on there. I want to look at the other side of that frame real fast before I put it back together. I'm just setting this aside here. Alright. Don't lose that washer now. The washer's still inside there. We're ready to put this back on. Okay. Screws are in, yoke springs are there, sleeve's still on there. And you can just kind of lift it up just to make sure them springs are still in place, which they are. That's all I'm doing. I did that off camera. I'm just checking to make sure the springs are still in place. There we go. Okay. Get your screws. Just take your time, guys. Screwdriver. Don't over tighten anything. Like I said, don't strip out any heads. Pop the side back open there. Get the screw that's behind the spool. That's the longer screw. Just make them snug. Okay. Shut that up real fast. Put the other 2 screws in. If you guys can't see everything, you should be able to follow me. I'm telling you what I'm doing. The other screw. Alright, so your screws are in. There's that washer right on top there I told you guys about. If you can see that, it's right there. Let's see here. That washer. Lift it up so you guys can see it. It's just a real thin washer. It's up there at an angle. It sits right on top of that sleeve. Okay. Now, put the other 2 screws in on this side. Oh. The other one. Okay. Get your 4 screws in there. While we have that open, go slide your spool in there. That looks good, guys. Close it up. That looks good. Alright. Get the cap. Washer is in there. Double check that. Get a little fiber washer in there. Don't cross through anything. There we go. Okay. That's looking good already. Alright. So you have, just double checking here, make sure it came off. Okay. Now, get your washers here and make sure they're cupped. If you guys can see, let me hold this so you guys might be able to see this. I don't believe you're going to be able to see that. Make sure that they're just cupped towards themselves. Okay, put them on there. That nut. The spring sits right on top of that nut. Piece of fuzz on there. Spring sits right on top of that nut. Drag star. Okay, Hold that on there. This is the trickiest part of everything. Hold that down, okay? You'll see that hole right there. First, you get that spring. This is gonna be the hardest part for me because I got big hands, so might need a little bitty, like, what do you call them things? Like a tweezer or something like that. We put the spring in the hole, and then the clicker, the point side up. I can even grab this here. I have to have my kids come do this for me. Okay. It just sets in that hole. Okay. Then it's that black washer. If I can grab it here. Okay. You can see the kind of the gear to it. That goes down. Make sure you don't knock off the clicker. This is the tedious part right here. Okay. That washer that was under the handle. The handle. Your nut. Now that you got it on, then you can release the star drag. Okay. Get your wrench, your nut driver, socket, whatever you're using. Okay. Get that retainer ring. Get your screw. Like I said, guys, if you couldn't follow me here, just leave me a comment and I'll answer your questions. Now, little caps here for the handle. I just screw these in with your fingers. I don't want to scratch those up with a screwdriver. Probably use a coin. Might fit in there too. Alright guys, that is it. Yeah, that's nice, guys. Check out that spool. It's a pretty good spin time for stock bearings. Nice and smooth. Super nice, guys. That looks killer. Hey, you gotta have that cap on the front. Show you guys the blue one again. I need to get one more. I need a green one now. Yeah, that's awesome, guys. Check that out. Pretty slick. Alright guys, hopefully that video helped you guys out. Hopefully you could follow me in that video. If you couldn't, by me saying what I was doing, hopefully you were able to figure it out. If not, feel free to leave me a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Next time you're at 13 Fishing website, pick yourself up a reel, definitely check out one of these Trick Shop kits and check out one of your reels. Thanks for watching, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and we'll talk to you soon.